Clutch Trucker is filmed before a live studio audience. He looks like he's panicking, like he's skydiving or something. He acts like I'm going to kill him on these intros. He's the Los Opso made entirely out of meatballs, right, Rusty? Look at the camera. Hey YouTube, Clutch Trucker here. Thanks again for tuning in to another edition of the Clutch Trucker channel. I've done a couple of videos on best cell phone service for truckers. My first video was talking all about T-Mobile. I like them because they have the pay one price kind of plans. But they had some big holes. They've gotten a lot better. I gotta give them that. They've gotten so much better than they used to be. But where my wife works and where my daughter went to school, huge holes. And now that I've been driving a lot across Wyoming more, across I-80, the problem is whenever their service drops out, they switch over to Union Wireless in Wyoming, who is the local wireless company who I've had them, and they suck. Anyway, so things had to change. But at this point, I realized, okay, I've had Union Wireless, I've had T-Mobile. Years ago, I did the prepaid plans with Verizon. I did the prepaid with Net 10. Remember them? Now I'm on AT&T, and the rest of my family is on Verizon, and that may be changing again soon. So I've got a lot of information, recent information too, about all the major carriers' cell phone plans. So this doesn't apply just to truckers. So we're going to dive into all that right now. Years and years ago, back in the old Stone Age, when I started driving a truck about 10 years ago, I had just the basic Verizon service. Back then, their service wasn't the best, okay? A lot of holes, and I hated how their plans were. That's back to where they always try to tie you into buying a phone with them, and you were on contracts. You know, most of the companies now have gotten rid of the contracts. And T-Mobile kind of pioneered that, so we can thank those guys. So now you're no longer stuck into a contract for a year or two, which is what you used to have to be. I know I got so pissed off with Verizon years ago that I finally went the prepaid route. I did Net 10 for a while. I had the Verizon prepaid for a while. Verizon prepaid was very different than regular Verizon. All of Wisconsin was gone. Maryland was gone. Parts of West Virginia gone. It just wasn't all that good. Net 10 was okay. Buddy of mine who bought my last truck, Jim, he uses Straight Talk. He's had good luck with them, okay, and that's still a prepaid plan. About a few years ago, I switched the whole family over to T-Mobile. All right, let me back up here. Before I did that, I bought a new phone. I bought an Apple iPhone 6s Plus. My daughter bought a 6s. And we both signed up with the local wireless company in Wyoming, Union Wireless. We're trying to, you know, you always hear the buy local, shop local. So we're trying to give money to our local wireless company. Well, they sucked. They sucked beyond belief. The data never worked. And through the rest of the country where they didn't have their own towers, which was most of the rest of the country, as a truck driver, I kept getting thrown over to different companies. And then the data would never work. So I didn't stay with them too long. Then I switched the whole family over to T-Mobile because at that point my daughter and my wife were going to Europe. And about the only service that's compatible in the US and in Europe is T-Mobile. So I knew if I got everybody on T-Mobile when they went over to Europe, they'd have phone service, and like I could at least call them and so forth. And that worked well for that. Problem is, once they were back, my wife works at a school in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and her cell service on T-Mobile drops out all the time and would revert to Union Wireless, which, as I said, was terrible. Same would happen to my daughter. She was going to University of Wyoming in Laramie. And when T-Mobile would drop out, it would go to Union Wireless. Anytime I was driving across Wyoming and the T-Mobile would drop out, it would go to Union Wireless, and it sucked. And the data would never work. And of course, that's where you want the data the most as a truck driver, when you're trying to look up the weather and the road conditions, because I-80 gets shut down all the time. Now, like I say, T-Mobile kind of pioneered the no contract, pay-as-you-go regular plans. And that's what I really liked about them. The other thing I really like about T-Mobile and the other two big ones, Verizon and AT&T, who are the only other two big ones really left anymore. T-Mobile bought out Sprint, by the way. So if you have Sprint, well, you're now T-Mobile. AT&T owns Cricket. Verizon, if you're on Straight Talk, you're probably on Verizon. Okay, so you're with the big boys in some way or another. But T-Mobile was the one who pioneered the pay one price thing, and that's it. That's what I really liked and still really like about T-Mobile is if they say $60 a month, bang, it's $60 a month. There's no hidden fees and taxes. It's all included. Now, Verizon and AT&T, they still do the old school kind of plans that I hate, where, yeah, whoa, it's $75 a month, but they have all these extra taxes and fees. So you end up going to pay a lot more. When T-Mobile tells you a price, that's the price. That's what I still, to this day, really like about T-Mobile, even though I'm not with them anymore. Now, the reason I'm not with T-Mobile anymore is basically because of my family. My wife and daughter, they got tired of those holes and getting switched over to Union Wireless all the time. So they finally switched to Verizon. So the whole rest of the family went over to Verizon. Here starts to be the problem. Verizon lied, flat out lied to them, to my wife, and said my daughter was about to go in the military. She is now at basic training. And they said, oh, you get a $40 a month discount, $5 off each line for the military. And as long as somebody in the military is in your family, then you get that discount. Well, now they've just changed their mind and said, oh, by the way, that changed. Oh, no, it's not $40, it's only $20. So they lied. Bait and switch. Illegal. Verizon, you're guilty of illegal practices. My wife's just been dealing with this the last couple of days, saying, why is my bill so much higher than it's supposed to be? She talked to the manager of the Verizon store in Cheyenne, and he's like, oh, well, I didn't even know. Apparently it just changed, but they're not willing to refund it. They're not willing to stand up and back what they said. Like I said earlier, years ago, I hated Verizon. I hated dealing with them. When I tried to switch away from you think you're stabbing kittens with forks. Why are you leaving us? Ah! I never really liked them. And my family switched because they wanted the better service, which I understand. When you have bad service in an area you're at all the time, I get it. But then they flat out lied to my wife and my family, and now they're not backing it up. That's bait and switch. That is illegal. And so now my wife's so disgusted with Verizon, she's ready to switch away. Now, in the meantime, I had switched about a month ago from T-Mobile to AT&T. Reason being, of course, once the rest of my family switched away from T-Mobile, we had a great plan. We had 5 phone lines for a total of $180 a month, everything included. Not a bad price, okay? When everybody else went away, bang, whoop, 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 all of a sudden my single line with T-Mobile went up to $70 a month. Okay? Well, then they started kind of giving me crap. Well, you've gone over on your data a little bit. Maybe you need to bump up to the $80 a month plan. I'm like, really? You just keep hiking the rates on me. This is after my family had switched to Verizon. I tried to switch my phone to Verizon. I just recently bought a new phone, or a new to me phone. I got another video about that, a couple of them you can watch on this channel. But anyway, this phone is not compatible with Verizon. So I was in Ogden, Utah at the time, hiking through the snow up to the Verizon store. I got kind of pissed off. Hiking back, there's an AT&T store right there near where my truck's parked while I'm waiting for my dog to get groomed. Go in and say, all right, give me your pitch. Sell me. Why should I switch to you? And they had plans that were about, $5 more than I was paying with T-Mobile. Of course, there's extra taxes and fees, and I went ahead and switched. I usually don't just make a decision like that, but I did. And actually, I've been pretty happy with them. Their service, compared to the way other people I knew who had them years ago, is much better. And they claim they're now better than Verizon. I can say, driving back across Wyoming on I-80, I had service almost the whole time, which is amazing. I've now had them a good month and a half, and their service is better than T-Mobile's service in most of the country as a truck driver. It's just now for one single line, I'm paying a premium price. I'm paying $75 a month plus extra taxes and fees. And here's where we get into the next part. Like I said earlier, T-Mobile, when they say $180 for 5 lines, they mean it. That's what it is. That's one thing I hate about Verizon. That's one thing I hate now that I'm with AT&T with them. My $75 a month plan, well, it's like my first bill was $109. And they wanted, the next one's like 119. I'm like, well, where the hell is this coming from? Well, they do partial months, they do this and that, blah, blah, blah. you're going to pay anywhere from 10 to 20 bucks more than they say per line, because Verizon and AT&T are the big dogs. They do it the old way, and they hit you with all these extra taxes and fees that are not included, which I don't like. That's why I really still like T-Mobile for their plans. But when I have to drive across I-80 a lot in Wyoming, and I live in Wyoming, I like having the better service. And so far, AT&T's service, now that I've been all over the country, hell, I was down in Florida a couple of weeks ago. I'm now up in Washington State. I've pretty much crisscrossed the entire country. And AT&T's service, I can say, right now, at least in January of 2020, I would have to say their service is the best. They have the best coverage right now. And now, as I said, Verizon pissed off my wife, lying to her about the military discount. They're going back on that. Well, that's, like I say, that's lying, that's bait and switch, that's illegal. She's basically wanting to sue them, which I don't blame her. So I said, hey, let me just look in to see what getting extra lines on AT&T would cost. So now, if we switch everybody else except for my daughter, who can keep the military discount with Verizon, we can get 4 lines for 35 bucks a month, or the one I'm on for 40 bucks a month, which will be a total of 160 for all 4 lines. Not bad. But of course, unlike T-Mobile, there's the extra taxes and fees. So we may end up switching everybody now over to AT&T with me, away from Verizon, since they lied to us. Bastards. Yeah, Verizon, you suck. You can't do that. That's freaking illegal. Anyway. Can you say class action? Anyway, I'm happier with the AT&T service, although I was happiest with T-Mobile's prices. So we're kind of in a quandary. But now, if the rest of the family switches over to AT&T, the whole deal is, with any of the carriers, the more lines you have with them, the better you're going to save. Now, at least when my wife switched the rest of the family over to Verizon, it's been less than 90 days. And you had a 90-day period in which, if you didn't like it, you could switch away, and they're going to give you back your activation fee, which is probably what's going to happen, because my wife and myself are so pissed off at Verizon. Evil. So probably the rest of the family is going to come over with me to AT&T. But the thing I hate about all carriers, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile, which are your big 3 in the US right now, they all say, oh, we have unlimited plans. Oh, they're all unlimited. Well, but they're not. You can't call it freaking unlimited if it's really not unlimited. But they all do it. They all say, oh, it's unlimited up to 23 gigs a month. It's unlimited up to 50 gigs a month. But if you really want to have unlimited, you need to pay for this one, which is unlimited up to 100 gigs a month. Well, if it's not unlimited, then don't call it freaking unlimited. I really hate that. And all of them are guilty of that. You can't call it an unlimited plan if there are stipulations, if there's cutoffs. If you're only unlimited up to 50 gigs, and then you're going to throttle me down, that's not a freaking unlimited plan. All 3 of you major carriers, you can bite me on that one. I hate that. But we have to deal with them. Like I say, T-Mobile, I like their pricing plans the best. However, after now having AT&T for a month and a half or so, driving all over the country, I gotta say their service is the best. And Verizon, you've really pissed us off by lying to us. And we'll probably never come back to you again. And that's part of the reason I'm doing this video, is to let people know Verizon lies. Don't believe them. They're full of crap. So, let's summarize. AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon, you all lie about having unlimited plans. If you're going to put stipulations on them, they're not unlimited. Okay, that out of the way. T-Mobile has the best prices overall, because all taxes and all fees are included in the price they quote you when you go into their store, or you call them, or you do it online. They say 180 bucks for 5 lines. That's all you're going to pay. There's no extra taxes and fees. With AT&T and Verizon, they quote you a price per line But there are extra taxes and fees, and it's going to be higher, anywhere from 10 to 20 more bucks per line with AT&T or Verizon. That's why I'm not a fan, really, of the pricing plans on either of those. However, AT&T, I've found as a truck driver all over the country, you seem to have the best service right now. You beat out T-Mobile. I would still be with T-Mobile, but I live in Wyoming. And I live in and I drive through a lot of the places where you drop out and it reverts to other carriers. And I would rather have the better service and pay a little bit more for that. All three of them, you're going to pay a premium if you only have one line. And they're all going to kill you on that. T-Mobile's still probably your best deal by about 10 to 20 bucks a month because they don't have the extra taxes and fees. So as a truck driver, if you're not driving to Wyoming much, maybe T-Mobile is your best bet. Verizon, you're the devil. How dare you lie to us and say we're going to get this discount and then you take it away? That's illegal. That's bait and switch. You're the devil. I hate you, Verizon. I will never use Verizon again, and I hope the rest of my family switches over with me to AT&T. That said, AT&T, I don't like your pricing. I don't like how your taxes and fees are extra on top of your pricing plans. T-Mobile, I like your pricing plans the best, but AT&T, I think you've got the best. Overall, we have to deal with one of you three giant, I'm trying to be nice, companies. So I think right now they're probably going to be the best option. So I hope this helps some of you out, breaking down the plans overall. Like I say, the more lines you have, the better deal you're going to get with any of them. And right now, as a truck driver, I found AT&T to have the best service. Remember, I've had AT&T, I've had Verizon, I've had T-Mobile, I've had Union Wireless, I've had prepaid like Net 10, and I haven't had Straight Talk, but I had prepaid Verizon years ago. I've had a lot of them. Okay, so this is all real information from me and my experience. So hopefully this helps you out. Like I say, so the overall winner, if we got to pick one of the big three giant companies, I would say AT&T has the best service. Their plans are comparable to Verizon. T-Mobile's got the best prices. So if you have good service where you're going to mainly be using your phone, I'd say go with T-Mobile. So that's it in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe to the Clutch Trucker channel. I've got well over 100 videos on everything involved with trucking, and some fun dash cam videos, and just a whole bunch of stuff on here, and some just really silly stuff. I put one up the other day. I put a Lego car together, for crying out loud. All right. Please comment. Please like. Please ring the bell. As always, sniff that magic YouTube fairy dust. Clutch out.